want to talk about this story that didn't actually. I'm kind of been surprised in some respects that it hasn't gotten more attention. Mark Ames wrote a piece a couple of weeks ago at Pando Daily on the results of an ongoing DOJ investigation of basically top Silicon Valley firms, Google, Apple, even Adobe. I don't say even Adobe because Adobe has a more ethical culture. It's just Adobe's obviously smaller on a smaller scale. Basically colluding together at the top echelons of leadership to commit to not do open recruiting between each firm's engineers, which of course means that the price levels will go down and stay level for everybody because engineers are not operating competitively. They're not getting recruited by other firms. They don't have a sense of asking for wage increases. They don't know what's in the market. And this plan with disclosed emails from people like Eric Schmidt, Steve Jobs, this was planned at the highest levels. You even have, as an example, you have emails from the late Steve Jobs threatening Adobe when he found out that Adobe, which again, smaller firm, had actually broken at a lower level with a lower level engineer the outlines of this agreement. Jobs emailed the CEO at the time of Adobe, and he said, look, if Adobe was recruiting Apple's employee, asked Adobe's CEO if they were trying to recruit Apple's employees. And Adobe's CEO responded, I thought, quote, this is what Jobs wrote to Adobe, quote, I thought we agreed not to recruit any senior level employees. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. This is what Adobe wrote to Jobs in response to a Jobs inquiring about the recruiting. I thought we agreed to not recruit any senior level employees. I propose we keep it that way, open to discuss. It would be good to agree. Jobs responded by threatening war. Okay, I'll tell our recruiters they're free to approach any Adobe employees who is not a senior director or VP. Am I understanding your position correctly? Jobs also threatened Sergey Brin of Google. If you hire a single one of these people, that means war, unquote, referring to Google attempting to recruit from Apple. And the whole scheme, which was initiated in the 1980s, was started by George Lucas. So this even implicates what Mark Ames calls the Obi-Wan Kenobi of Silicon Valley, Pixar, and animation, all these fun, friendly brands that we talk about. And look,
George Lucas shot first.
George Lucas shot first,
Yes.
indeed. And I think but the important thing here, and it's a very extensive piece, and it's very much worth reading. And there's documents from the DOJ outlining all of this, but it's another libertarian delusion that's being punctured here, because what you saw is an unregulated market of major corporations at the top levels colluding, and they used, George Lucas said, "Oh, we have different margins in our business, so we can't have the same type of competition." And all the myths of Silicon Valley. This is about creativity. We're family. This is about innovation. This isn't all of the kind of new age gobbledygook to bring 19th century robber baron labor practices through the door. And bear in mind, this isn't just. Think of how they treat the cafeteria staff. These are engineers. These are vital, relatively well-compensated and educated employees. So again, libertarians, with no oversight, no governance, no rules of the road, what is to stop this from happening? And again, are employees free just because they're, quote, choosing jobs? In this case, these guys didn't even know what their actual value was. And they didn't have an opportunity to go to their competition. So in other words, they didn't have freedom of the market. So another Silicon Valley myth busted and another libertarian myth busted.